Hi dear ones, this is Shoaib Ahmed. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for watching and liking my videos. It really means a lot to me. I feel humbled. It truly gives me an extra dose of motivation. It gives me food for thought. It gives me positive energy that propels me to think about different and interesting topics. Thank you very much. After discussing at length about how to deal with difficult times and how to lead a satisfying life, now I have decided to discuss about anger. Actually, all these videos are interconnected, because if your prolonged anger overtakes your sensible thinking process, you will never be able to deal with difficult times and you will never be able to lead a satisfying life. And for those of you who have just bumped into my YouTube video, I would recommend you to also watch my earlier full-length videos by clicking on my channel. Surely you will benefit. Before I shed light on dealing with anger, let me clarify some misconceptions tied to this word anger. Then we will move forward and explore anger. The word anger has negative connotation. Many negative things are associated with this word. When you look up this word in the dictionary, you will find a bunch of negative words tied to it. However, if we analyze, we will come to know that anger is an emotion like happiness, sadness, fear, etc. We all experience anger. People express their anger through words, through actions. Sometimes they explode right away and start using foul and disrespectful language. Some people keep their anger within themselves. They suppress it and don't let others know that they are angry. There are certain triggers that make them angry. First, we need to identify those triggers. Let's explore the roots of anger. Let's understand through examples. I want you to think about a hypothetical situation. Suppose you are working on an important assignment on your computer at office. You are putting your all-out effort. 2 to 3 hours go by. One of your subordinates comes up to you and requests you to use your computer for sending an urgent email to one of the clients, as his computer has suddenly gone out of order. Realizing the sensitivity of the situation, you allow him to use your computer. When he is done, he incidentally closes all open files. That also includes your assignment that unfortunately you had not saved on your computer. When you look at the computer screen, you only see wallpaper and some icons on desktop. Your 2 to 3 hours effort goes in vain. You go crazy. You turn on your super aggressive mode and you lash out bitterly at your subordinate. This is, let's say, situation number 1. Keep in mind, here the culprit is your subordinate. Now I want you to think about a slightly different scenario. Keep the entire scene same except for one change. This time the culprit is not your subordinate. The culprit is your boss. Your boss closed your assignment without saving it. How are you going to react now? Will you still be using abusive language? Think about it. The only choice you are left with is to hold your head with your both hands, and that too when your boss goes away. Because if you show any sign of disrespect in his presence, you may lose your job. Both situations are completely identical. What I did, I only replaced the persons involved, or you can say the culprits involved. As a result, you witnessed different results. What does it indicate? It indicates that you have control over your anger. You can regulate your anger. When you find a person who appears inferior to you, physically or with respect to your position or with respect to your rank, you release your anger. You don't put the brakes on. You think to yourself, what is he going to do? That poor person tolerates your anger and you get under his skin. Your ego comes in between. But in the reverse case, when you find someone superior, powerful and influential, you withhold your anger. You become completely patient. You don't lose your temper. You don't get loud. You don't get out of control. You try to articulate your sentences with so much precision so that the other person should not feel offended. Here you find dual personality. It's a fact. No one can deny that. It happens. Normally it happens when you are already depressed, when you are already stressed out. You become easily agitated. And then when you find a soft target, that person immediately becomes a scapegoat, or you can say Qurbani ka bakra. This way you tend to release your pressure. I know anger is unavoidable. You will find yourself in situations that will make you angry. These situations are unpredictable. But how you respond to these situations, that's important. An uncontrolled response will turn into an uncontrolled anger that will ruin your health. It will destroy your relationships. It will disturb your state of mind. The trigger that makes you angry may be the same, but you behave differently every time it is done by a different person. If you have to deal with these situations and you really want to control your anger outburst, I would recommend you to follow these steps. The first technique that I have for you is to develop a forgiving nature. See, we are not angels that we never make any mistake. When we commit mistakes, we expect others to forgive us. Similarly, when others do something that infuriates us, then we need to cultivate forgiving nature within ourselves. I know this is very difficult to internalize. One side of it is that you don't take revenge and you just let it go. But when you go beyond that and forgive the person, this is something that is very difficult to adopt. Let me remind you that if you express your anger after every disturbing situation, you will never be able to concentrate on good and positive things around you. This is really bad for you. This will snatch away your joyful moments. But if you learn to forgive, the other person will genuinely start respecting you. And hopefully you will be forgiven when you will be at fault. This will not only diminish animosity and hatred among each other, but will also assist people to regulate temper and anger in trying situations. Let me summarize this technique in a beautiful couplet. तू बचा बचा के न रख इसे, तेरा आईना है वो आईना, जो शिकस्ता हो तो अजीज तर है निगाह आईना साज में. Sometimes you get angry when you are mistreated, when you are wronged. Even then, you need to learn to channel it properly. The situation will further worsen if you have not learned to accept criticism and you become an object of criticism. If you are in the condition of unregulated anger, it is better for you to stay quiet. Chances are that you will say something and you will regret later. When you are in the heat, you are gravitated towards using foul language. And remember, Once a word comes out of your mouth, you can never swallow it again. You need to collect your thoughts before saying anything to anyone. The moment you realize that you are completely in your senses, only then get your point across. Take non-confrontational approach to express your concern or grievance without making others offended. When you are really angry, go for a walk and involve yourself in enjoyable activities. Physical exercise will help reduce anger. Instead of focusing on problems that drive you crazy and cranky, think about viable solutions. Problems are not going anywhere. They need your careful attention to get fixed. So this brings me to the end of discussion. I hope you found this conversation very intriguing and insightful. If you enjoyed this video, share it with your family and friends. Furthermore, for your convenience, I have also added complete manuscript of this video in the description. You can read this. You can also share your views in the comment section. Once again, I remind you to watch my videos titled How to Deal with Difficult Situations and How to Lead a Satisfying Life. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.